In 1883, a sound was made so loud that people heard it 4,800 kilometers away, a fifth of the way around the planet. Sailors 40 miles from it had their eardrums burst. And the pressure wave it created didn't just travel outward and fade. It circled the entire Earth, over and over, for days. This is the loudest sound in recorded history. Krakatoa was a small volcanic island sitting in the strait between Java and Sumatra, in what is now Indonesia. For 2 centuries it had been quiet, and people lived and traded all around it without much concern. Then, in May of 1883, it woke up. Steam and ash began venting from its peak, and for 3 months it rumbled and puffed away. Local people got used to it. Ships sailed past, and passengers came up on deck to watch the show, treating it as a curiosity rather than a warning. Nobody realized that beneath the island, pressure was building towards something the world had never recorded before. On the 27th of August, at 2 minutes past 10 in the morning, Krakatoa tore itself apart. The final explosion was so violent that most of the island simply ceased to exist, collapsing into the sea and leaving a hole in the ocean floor where land had been. It launched a column of ash roughly 80 kilometers into the sky, punching far above the clouds and into the upper atmosphere. The energy released has been estimated at many thousands of times the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and it produced a sound unlike anything humans had documented before or since. Here is what makes it extraordinary. On the island of Rodriguez, in the middle of the Indian Ocean, 4,800 kilometers away, a police chief reported hearing what he took to be the distant roar of heavy guns. That is roughly the distance from London to New York. It was heard across Australia. It was heard in the Philippines and in Sri Lanka. Around 1/13 of the entire surface of the Earth could hear it with their own ears. Try to picture that. Something happening in Indonesia and people on another continent stopping to ask what that noise was. So how loud was it really? We can't know exactly, because no microphone existed that could survive it. But we do have a clue. About 160 kilometers away, in what is now Jakarta, a gasworks recorded a sudden spike in air pressure. And from that, scientists calculate a sound level of around 172 decibels. For comparison, a jet engine at close range is about 150. Standing that far away, you would have been hearing something well past the threshold where sound stops being noise and starts being force. Sailors 64 kilometers away had their eardrums ruptured instantly. At that range, the sound didn't reach them. It hit them. And now the strangest part. The pressure wave from the explosion didn't simply spread out and die away. It was so powerful that it traveled all the way around the planet and kept going. Barometers in cities thousands of kilometers away, in London, in Paris, in New York, all twitched at the same moment as the wave swept past. Then, hours later, they twitched again as it came round a second time. And again, and again. Weather stations recorded the wave passing at least 4 separate times over the following days. For nearly a week, an echo of that single morning was still circling the Earth. But here's the part people forget. For all its noise, the sound was not the killer. The collapse of the island displaced an unimaginable volume of water, sending tsunami waves up to 30 meters high, taller than a 10-story building, racing into the coastlines of Java and Sumatra. Entire towns were erased in minutes. Around 36,000 people died, and the overwhelming majority drowned. Afterwards, so much ash and gas hung in the upper atmosphere that global temperatures dropped for years, and skies around the world turned strange and vivid, deep reds and oranges that painters recorded on canvas. One island exploded, and the entire planet felt it. So the loudest sound ever recorded wasn't a bomb, or an engine, or anything we built. It was one small island in Indonesia tearing itself apart on an ordinary Monday morning. A sound heard a fifth of the world away, that burst eardrums from 60 kilometers, and then went around the planet 4 times just to make sure everyone noticed. And the strangest thought of all, nobody alive has ever heard anything close to it. The loudest thing in human history happened before anyone could record it, and all we have left is the mark it scratched onto a few barometers. If that gave you chills, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.